All right, good evening. I'm Josh Brumberg, president of the CUNY Graduate Center, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to this evening's celebration of our alumni. As a longstanding faculty member here at the Graduate Center, I have seen our alumni make significant contributions not only regionally here in New York City, but also around the world. I'm so delighted to welcome back the alumni who are here with us tonight as we celebrate the astounding achievements of 8 of our alumni. I'm also pleased to welcome their friends, family, and my Graduate Center and CUNY colleagues. Tonight, we'll be hearing about the careers of a diverse group of alumni whose fields span the humanities, social sciences, and natural sciences. All of them are carrying forward the priorities of the Graduate Center to engage in research and critical thinking that address pertinent issues and challenges through their teaching and mentorship to promote new generations of scholars. Collectively, their work is a testament to our mission at the Graduate Center to generate knowledge that enhances the public good. I want to extend my sincere thanks to the alumni who served on the awards selection committee. I am grateful to you for devoting your time to choosing these impressive award winners. Several of them are here: Bruce Altschuler, Chris Aretnes, Nora Awadala, Christopher Burrell, Linda Camarasana, Lynn Hill, Brian Jones, who's also representing the Board of Trustees here from the foundation, and Eric Ketchum. So thank all of you for this important work. I also want to thank the award presenters who have joined us tonight, both in person or in some cases remotely, to honor our alumni. And I would be remiss if I didn't say hello to those that are joining us remotely. We hope to see you in person one day soon. And now I will turn over the program to my colleague, Interim Provost Norm Carey, to kick it off. Norm.
Thanks so much, Josh, and thanks so much for being here. It is my pleasure to take part in what is a great annual tradition for us. Although I'm serving as interim provost this year, as a long-standing faculty member, it has been a pleasure to learn more about the depth and breadth of our academic programs, having this special occasion to celebrate how our graduates apply their training and their distinct career paths is a welcome and special occasion. Tonight, we will start our presentation with the Alumni Achievement Award, which recognizes alumni of exceptional distinction who have made exemplary contributions to their field, demonstrating outstanding dedication and accomplishment. To present our first award, I want to welcome Michael Weisberg, Professor of Earth and Environmental Sciences and a proud GC alum. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to present the Graduate Center's Alumni Achievement Award to Dr. Yingwei Fei for his exemplary contributions to our understanding of planetary interiors, including those of planets beyond our solar system. In preparing this presentation, I realized that I've known Fei for over 40 years. We were both Brooklyn College-based students in the Earth and Environmental Sciences program here at the Grad Center around the same time, and this was close to the inception of the program in 1983. Fei entered the program in 1984 with a bachelor's degree from Zhejiang University in China and 2 years in the Institute of Geochemistry at the Chinese Academy of Sciences. Here at the Grad Center, his mentor was Professor Surendra Saxena, a world-renowned geochemist known for his work in thermodynamics. Working with Saxena, Fei received his PhD in 1989 and was among the first to receive a PhD from the Earth and Environmental Sciences program. And he also received the Distinguished Scholar Dissertation Award from the university. So this is the second award we're giving him. Fei is currently a senior scientific staff member in the Earth and Planets Laboratory at the Carnegie Institution for Science in Washington. His research is to understand the evolution and composition of planetary interiors through high-pressure simulation experiments using a variety of experimental apparatus. He's also interested in the role of high pressure in synthesizing new materials. Through his work, we have a better knowledge of the deep interior of the Earth and other terrestrial planets, as well as planets beyond our solar system. Fay currently has over 260 scientific publications in notable journals such as Nature and Earth and Planetary Science Letters. He co-authored a book with his former advisor on thermodynamic data, which is important for determining mineral stabilities under different conditions and environments. And he served as editor on 2 volumes, one on mantle petrology and the other on high-pressure mineral physics. He's a co-author of 2 patents and has received a number of honors throughout his career. He was elected a fellow of the Geochemical Society and the European Association of Geochemistry in 2013, and a fellow of the American Geophysical Union in 2010. He received the Mineralogical Society of America Award in 1999 and is a life fellow of the Mineralogical Society of America. Early in his career, in 1990, he received the Hu Defang Medal from the Chinese Academy of Science, which is a prestigious award for young scientists in the field of mineralogy, petrology, and geochemistry. In 2018, Fay became immortalized. He had a mineral named after him. The mineral is called Fayite, which appropriately is a high-pressure iron titanium oxide mineral found in a meteorite from Mars. The mineral name was approved by the International Mineralogical Association in honor of Fay's many significant contributions to high-pressure mineralogy, mineral physics, and understanding of planetary interiors. Fay has supervised an impressive list of postdoctoral fellows and graduate students, some of whom themselves have gone on to make significant contributions to the science. He also traveled to New York several years ago, taking time from a busy schedule to give us a seminar here at the Grad Center for our grad student colloquium, which our students enjoyed and very much appreciated. He has had an outstanding career with many achievements. He's made numerous contributions toward the understanding of high-pressure minerals, planetary interiors, and mineral physics. His work is critical not only to understanding our own planet, but also to exploring other planets with implications for habitability of planets, including those beyond our solar system. He's also contributed significantly in training future generations of scientists. I'm proud to present this award to an old friend, Dr. Yingwei Fei. Please join me in congratulating him on this Alumni Achievement Award.
Wow, such great honors, and really glad to be back into the CUNY, and thank for people nominate me, and as well as the committee, and select me, and it's really exciting to be back here, and I came to US in '84, and that was just China just started opens up into the outside world, and I was among this first group of Chinese students and came to America. And I have to confess, I didn't know much about American university systems, and I applied to many schools and got admitted. And in those days, many people know, and we communicated with the letters and the turnaround times about 2 weeks into a month and get a response. And I was very excited in getting admitted to actually several schools. And what CUNY stands out, and I have to confess, is really I select the CUNY is based on my limited geography and from my word map. And then there was only knowledge about where things are. And among the many admission letters, and CUNY stands out because that's the only school I can find on my word map. And then, so I selected New York. I want to come to New York because all the other school was like it's a very small town. So I can't go to a foreign land and without knowing, where I'm going and not on the map. And so, but that turned out to be really right decisions. And I came work with Professor Saxena at Brooklyn College, and he was world leading experts in thermodynamics, and that was the subject was interested. And but to my surprise, and he didn't realize how famous he was in China, because actually her 1973 book was translated to Chinese, and then there was no copyrights in China. So so he didn't know was his book was like studied by all the graduate students and maybe undergraduate, and he was very famous in China. And until I came, I told him, your book is in Chinese, and that's how I found you. It's like, so he was very excited, and we had lots of great adventures and Brooklyn. He introduced, my first pizza and New York pizza, and first Brooklyn bagel, and we had 99 cents Wendy burg, and all those are like a first time, I came to this foreign land. And but mostly importantly, he really set me on the right track and for my career. And he assembled a very impressive thesis committee for me, and from Princeton, Stony Brook, and in fact, during my qualifying exams, and we started a New York area mineral physics club, and include a professor from Stony Brook and Princeton, Rutgers and Columbia's, and that was really a new force and to push in that field. And many of the graduate students benefit, and include Michael was my fellow graduate classmate, and we all benefit from that club, and many of them went on to become leaders in their own field, and really had a profound impact. And Professor Saxena also introduced me to actually during my last year at graduate school, and he introduced me to research at prestigious Carnegie Institution, Washington, and that there where I met people doing experiment, and actually I was a modeler, and that's how I got interested in doing experiments, and really, kind of put me in a new directions and research, and that's where I built my career in research, and that's where I met my wife, and she was also a postdoc and there, and we actually did lots of paper together, and really kind of set me on this new track. So all those, successful career paths, and they really can trace the back into CUNY, and that's really my, fellow graduate classmate and professors, and set me on the right track, and really kind of everything started here. So I'm grateful for the place, and really put me on the right track, and thank you and for the honors. And I also want to say this is I would say I think it's a real American dream and become true, and I hope in the future and this kind of story will continue, and thank you. Thank you for this. Thanks.
Thank you. To present our next award, I would like to turn the program over to Christopher Blair, Executive Officer of the Biology PhD program. Professor Blair.
Hello, everybody. We are tremendously proud to count Dr. Rosemary Nam among our alumni, and I'm honored to present her with the Graduate Center's Alumni Achievement Award. Dr. Nam has made an incredible force for conservation biology, working to conserve plants, animals, and their habitats for future and current generations. She recently retired after a long and distinguished career, culminating as the Chief of the Division of Scientific Authority for the United States Fish and Wildlife Service. Her work concentrated on the wildlife trade, its sustainable use, and CITES, Convention on the International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Flora and Fauna. Prior to that position, she worked in the Ecological Services Program as a project leader of the Long Island, New York field office. She worked on wildlife trade issues in the Services Division of Management Authority and Office of Law Enforcement. She also spent 4 years at the American Museum of Natural History in New York City, where she was the Assistant Director of the Center for Biodiversity and Conservation. Her own research has centered on endangered parrots in the Caribbean region and the development of conservation management plans for these species. Charting a course for conservation that is international in scope and mindful of economic factors is a formidable task. Rosemary has been a recognized leader in helping to establish multiple regulations and protocols that have protected numerous species and biodiversity both in the United States and beyond. It's with great pleasure that I present Dr. Rosemary Nam with the Alumni Achievement Award.
Thank you. I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to read my remarks. So good evening, President Brumberg, Provost Carey, distinguished members of the CUNY Alumni Awards Selection Committee, fellow award recipients, esteemed faculty, students, and guests. I'm truly humbled and honored to receive this Alumni Award. It holds deep personal meaning because my journey is a reflection of CUNY's mission to educate the children of the whole people. My parents were German immigrants who came to New York City in search of a better life. I was the first in my family to earn a college degree and eventually a doctorate. That was made possible because of CUNY, its commitment to high quality education and affordable tuition. CUNY opened the door and I walked through it. In 1992, I earned my PhD in biology. My dissertation focused on the breeding, biology, and ecology of the endangered Bahama parrot. Those unforgettable days spent on Abaco, Bahamas led to 3 life-changing outcomes: my PhD, the establishment of a national park, and last but certainly not least, my Bahamian husband, in that order. After that, I was awarded a AAAS Congressional Science Fellowship serving in the House Science Committee Subcommittee on Environment. And from that point on, I discovered my true calling in public service. My time at CUNY, especially its affiliation with the American Museum of Natural History, gave me access to some of the finest scientists and conservationists in the world. It instilled in me a can-do attitude, resilience, and most importantly, a lasting commitment to public service. That spirit stayed with me throughout my nearly 30-year government career. I led the Division of Scientific Authority in the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service's International Affairs Program. I've had the privilege of representing the United States on global wildlife conservation issues, including negotiations at the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, known as CITES, and overseeing its implementation here at home. In these complex discussions, I often leaned on the values I learned at CUNY: equity, perseverance, and the power of finding common ground. As I reflect on this journey, I'm filled with deep gratitude for the education, the opportunities, and the community that CUNY provided. I hope I've honored the values this institution represents and that I've paid it forward through my work. Some of my most meaningful experiences have come from mentoring the next generation of conservation leaders. It's been a privilege to share my knowledge, always with the belief that empowering others helps them grow stronger in their abilities, ultimately leading to stronger, more impactful conservation outcomes for our planet's plants and animals. I'm deeply grateful to all of you, my family, friends, colleagues, and my amazing CUNY professors for your unwavering belief in me and your support throughout this life journey. I carry your encouragement with me always, and thank you again for this honor.
Thank you so much. Congratulations. Our next presenter is Dr. Eric Delson, Emeritus Professor of Anthropology. Dr. Delson could not be with us here today, but has recorded a tribute for Dr. Katerina Harvati, who will be accepting this award remotely from Germany, where she serves as Director of Paleoanthropology at the University of Tübingen.
It's my great pleasure to recognize the work and success of Dr. Katerina Harvati, Professor of Paleoanthropology at the University of Tübingen, Germany, and Adjunct Professor of Anthropology here at the Graduate Center. Katerina previously taught at NYU and was a senior researcher at the Max Planck Institute for Evolutionary Anthropology in Leipzig, Germany, before moving to set up her own lab in Tübingen. Katerina has garnered numerous awards for her research, including election as a Fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science in 2010, the Research Award of Baden-Württemberg in 2014, in 2021, the Leibniz Prize of the German Research Foundation, the highest academic recognition in Germany, election to membership of the German National Academy of Sciences in 2022, and she currently holds a Siemens Foundation Fellowship for a year of research in Munich. Katerina's research focuses on human paleontology and evolution, especially the anatomy and behavior of Neanderthals and the origin of modern humans. Her recent work on the fossil human remains from Epidima Cave, southern Greece, pushed back the arrival of Homo sapiens in Europe by more than 150,000 years, demonstrating an earlier and much more geographically widespread early modern human dispersal than was previously known. She is now working at the Epidima site to seek further evidence of early moderns and Neanderthals, as well as at older sites in Greece in search of fossil and cultural evidence of Neanderthal ancestors. Katerina's work involves not only field exploration and excavation, but also cutting-edge laboratory techniques, including three-dimensional morphometric analysis, which she first learned from Graduate Center Professor of Biology, Leslie Marcus. Katerina was among the first to use these techniques in analyzing fossils. And as she traveled across Europe in various museums, she demonstrated her work, leading many others to follow in her footsteps. Her lab includes a dedicated high-resolution CT scanner, which can visualize fossils still embedded in the rock, allowing the user to virtually clean the fossil and reconstruct distorted specimens from damaged fragments. Her creativity in adopting novel approaches to paleoanthropology has led to new discoveries about our origins. The Graduate Center provides well-deserved recognition of Katerina Harvati with this year's Alumni Achievement Award.
Good afternoon. Dear President Bromberg, dear Interim Provost Carey, dear members of the 2025 Graduate Center Alumni Awards Committee, my fellow CUNY GC alumni, my dear Eric, it is a great pleasure and honor to accept the CUNY Graduate Center Alumni Achievement Award and join the ranks of the distinguished alumni that are being honored today. One of the most important decisions in my life, which impacted all of my subsequent trajectory, was the one that I took in the spring of 1994 when the phone rang in my dorm room as I was packing my Macintosh computer to be shipped to the UK, where I planned to start a postgraduate degree at Cambridge. Eric Delson was on the phone with an offer of acceptance in the CUNY GC PhD program in anthropology, as well as an offer for a small fellowship to support me. I quickly said yes. What followed was some of the toughest, most challenging, but also most exciting and rewarding years of my life as a PhD student at CUNY. I loved every minute of it. I had the opportunity to be taught by CUNY GC faculty, including such giants in their field as Fred Zalay, John Oates, Sarah Stinson, Tim Bromwich, and of course, Eric Delson, who went on to become my PhD supervisor and whose advice and mentoring I still rely on today. I made lifelong friends among my fellow CUNY students, who are my cherished colleagues today, and got my first opportunity to teach at several of the CUNY colleges, an invaluable experience for a young scholar. I am forever grateful for the dissertation year fellowship, which supported my last year of writing up. So it is not an understatement to say that my trajectory and my career were shaped by my experience and training at the City University of New York Graduate Center. I therefore thank you, CUNY, for all that you offered me, as well as for the incredible recognition of the Alumni Achievement Award, which I accept with immense gratitude and humility. Thank you.
For our final recipient of the 2025 Alumni Achievement Award, I would like to welcome Dr. Beatriz Lado, who serves as Executive Officer of our Latin American, Iberian, and Latino Cultures PhD program. Professor Lado.
It is an honor for me to present this Alumni Achievement Award to Beatriz Carolina Peña. A prolific writer and scholar, Beatriz Carolina Peña has made significant contributions to her field of colonial Latin American studies. She has published 6 award-winning monographs, 1 scholarly edition, and several peer-reviewed articles. Her work on the early colonial Andes has earned prestigious awards in Peru, Mexico, Cuba, Spain, and the United States. Her books on the 18th century Spanish, Caribbean, and British America have also received notable recognitions, including the 2023 Willie Paul Adams Award for the Organization of American Historians, as well as 2 gold medals as Best Academic Theme Book, along with other honors from the International Latino Book Awards. As invited guest editor, she curated a special January 2025 issue on colonial festivities for the esteemed journal Fronteras de la Historia. Her research has been supported by organizations such as the John Carter Brown Library, as well as through grants from the Reed Foundation or Melo Foundation. Her upcoming book, Juan Miranda and Other Spanish Negros in Colonial New York, scheduled for release in July, builds upon her previous research, offering the first full-length study of non-white Spanish Caribbean sailors and other free-born individuals who were captured or kidnapped at sea and enslaved in the English colonies of North America. These Spanish, Afro-descendant, and indigenous enslaved mariners have long been absent from historical narratives. Giving voice to underrepresented histories like this is what drives much of Dr. Peña's work, and we are delighted to recognize her efforts to think about history in new and more expansive ways with this Alumni Achievement Award. I should also say that she has successfully been teaching since she graduated at Queens College. So, and we've also had the opportunity of having her teach in our department. So please help me in congratulating Beatriz for this Alumni Award.
Thank you very much to Joshua C. Bromberg, President of the Graduate Center, to the Office of Institutional Advancement and Alumni Relations, and quite especially to the panel of alumni volunteers who, quote, read through dozens of nominations, end of quote, to select this year's honorees. As you can see, I'm quoting, it's a habit, right, of a scholar. I am profoundly grateful to Dr. Raquel Chan Rodriguez, my inspiring mentor, for nominating me, and to the colleagues and friends who supported my nomination. I am also deeply thankful to my husband, family, and friends who are here with me today. The Graduate Center was a pivotal part of my formation. Here, I deepened my ability to read closely and to question the texts before me. It was here that Raquel Chan Rodriguez awakened my passion for colonial Latin American studies. I was also a student of unforgettable professors like the late Isaías Lerner and Dionisio Cañas, to whom I owe my interest in the so-called, quote-unquote, Spanish Negroes. The Graduate Center challenged and reshaped many of my perspective. My professors encouraged me to adopt new approaches to literary study, broadening my appreciation for the field and its interdisciplinary potential. The institution had a truly transformative impact on me. It drew my attention to historical periods, cultural developments, and intellectual constructs I had only begun to explore. I studied authors who had been largely overlooked by scholars, an experience that inspired me to shed light on marginalized voices and neglected texts. During my dissertation, I encountered original manuscripts for the first time, including an early 17th century travel narrative penned by Friar Diego de Ocaña. I would also like to thank Professor Octavio Di Camillo, who was the executive officer at the time when I entered the Graduate Center. Thanks to his support, I received tuition assistance and teaching opportunities within CUNY. I will always be grateful to the Graduate Center. This award is tremendously meaningful to me because I have always hoped to make this institution proud. Recognition from my alma mater is perhaps the most powerful reflection of that hope and of my deep gratitude. And last, but certainly not least, thank you, Lord.
Thank you so much. Our next category of recognition is our Graduate of the Last Decade, or Gold Award. These alumni have made significant contributions early in their careers and are promising emergent scholars from a variety of fields. To present the first Gold Award, it is my pleasure to call on Dr. Teresita Levy, an alumna of the Graduate Center where she serves on the history faculty. Dr. Levy is also chair and associate professor of the Department of Latin American and Latino Studies at Lehman College. Professor.
I thought I had another 3 minutes. Thank you. I am so pleased to be here and delighted to present the Gold Award to my former student, my dear colleague, and my good friend, Dr. Mila Burns. She is a talented scholar and teacher and a renowned journalist and public intellectual. Her scholarship spans multiple disciplines, including history, anthropology, music, literature, and media studies. Mila's groundbreaking research on gender, race, and music in Brazil, exemplified in her books on samba composer Dona Ivone Lara, has earned widespread acclaim. These works highlight Mila's ability to intertwine historical, cultural, and political analysis to offer a nuanced inquiry into Brazil's authoritarian past and the intersections between art and activism. Her forthcoming book, titled Dictatorship Across Borders, Brazil, Chile, and the South American Cold War, will be published this fall by the University of North Carolina Press. This work promises to revolutionize the field of Latin American history, offering a new perspective on the overthrow of Salvador Allende and the undermining of Chilean democracy. Beyond her scholarly achievements, Mila is a transformative educator. Her commitment to accessible education is evident in her extensive use of open educational resources, ensuring her courses are inclusive and equitable for all students. Through her mentorship, she has guided students to achieve remarkable success at Lehman, including acceptance into prestigious graduate programs and the completion of impactful research projects. In 2022, Mila was appointed as Associate Director of the Center for Latin American, Caribbean, and Latino Studies here at the Graduate Center, an institution she has been involved with in her student days, and that's how I met her too. She oversees the budget, she plans events, she does everything, develops new fellowships that have supported over 50 doctoral students here at the Graduate Center. Mila's ability to connect with diverse audiences, whether through scholarly presentation, media appearances, or on social media platforms, serves as a bridge between academic research and public discourse. This dual commitment to scholarship and public engagement aligns with CUNY's mission to serve as a resource for New York City and beyond. I am so proud, and we are so proud, to recognize her work with this Graduate of the Last Decade award. Mila?
Thank you, Tere. Thank you, President Bromberg, Interim Provost Carey, and everyone in the Graduate Center community, including, of course, the committee. Thank you for this incredible honor. And congratulations to my fellow awardees. You are all truly inspiring. When I got the email saying I'd been selected to be here tonight, I was so shocked. I may have screamed a little bit. And my 8-year-old came running and said, "Mom, were you fired?" Apparently, that felt more likely than being recognized like this. So first, a big thank you to my son and my husband for their support and, let's say, interesting confidence in me over the years. Yeah, I think that's well said. When Teresita Levy, Chair of Latin American Latino Studies at Lehman College, where I'm happy to teach, was nominating me for this award, we joked, of course they're gonna give me this award. A Cold War historian who studies dictators and exile, oh, it's way more glamorous than scientists and policymakers. But every now and then, we remember how much history matters, usually when things aren't going well. In times of crisis, we look to the past for answers, and lately I've had students, friends, and even parents at birthday parties ask me, what happens to universities when democracy breaks down? What does everyday life under a dictatorship feels like? It's in these moments that history feels urgent. Tonight, I want to celebrate history, but also dialogue with students, friends, and even parents at birthday parties. Because those little conversations across disciplines, across experiences, push us to think in new ways. They help us ask better questions and sometimes find complex answers. When you're rushing to write a dissertation, it's easy to get caught up in your own department. But one of the beauties of this place is the many interdisciplinary centers and institutes that pull us out of silos. For me, that was CLECOS, the Center for Latin American, Caribbean, and Latino Studies. It became my home during my 5 years as a PhD student here. There, I found mentors, funding, and friendships with psychologists, economists, musicians, art historians, biologists, you name it. Now, as associate director, I get to work with a new generation of students. Some of them are here, actually, from across all of those fields. I also want to say I am a proud product of public education. In Brazil, I earned a BA in journalism and a master's in anthropology at the Federal University of Rio de Janeiro. I'm here today because higher education was given to me as a right, not a privilege. And that continued here at the Graduate Center at CUNY. Every day I spend in this building learning from some of the brightest minds in the world is a gift. In this moment of uncertainty, I hope we remember what the Graduate Center and CUNY as a whole have always stood for: education as a tool for justice, opportunity, and transformation. Thank you so much.
I would like to now welcome Ted Joyce, Professor of Economics, to present us with the next award.
Thank you. I met Owner as a second-year student in my econometrics class here at the Graduate Center. One day during that semester, he came to my office at Baruch to describe ideas for a research paper. I invited him to explain, and he promptly went to my whiteboard. With precocious maturity, he outlined the motivation, theory, data, and methods for his study. I said to myself, who is this guy? Such confidence, clarity, and enthusiasm. Most second-year students struggle to keep their heads above water, but here was Owner racing across the water's surface with joy. Well, that study that Owner outlined on my whiteboard became a solo-authored paper in the journal Demography, the flagship publication of the Population Association of America. That incident in my office also explains why we are here tonight to honor him. His many publications since then are listed in his accomplishments. I will only add to those who are less familiar with academic publishing, and publishing in a field as competitive and as demanding as economics, is that Owner's world-class research can be read in the most prestigious journals in our field. Let me close by saying that a great CV is one accomplishment, but Owner's work has transparency, honesty, and credibility of a researcher 20 years his senior. In the new world of Twitter and social media, where many academics vie for attention, Owner's let the quality of his scholarship speak for itself. I could not be more proud of him. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I'm extremely happy to be here. It's a real pleasure and honor to be here. And thank you so much for this recognition. I came to New York in 2010 and with a little money and, to be honest, a little idea about what I want to do for my PhD. But the next 6 years has been the most transformative period in my life. And I'm extremely grateful for the experience. When I reflect that time, I think there are two distinct sort of memories that stand out. And first is what we economists call the agglomeration effects, which is truly just being around a lot of good ideas. During that period, I learned so much from my peers. Some of them are here today, from co-authors, from advisors, from great speakers who visited our institution and other institutions in the city. And that was an amazing experience to kind of being exposed to that sort of, it's a real pleasure and a privilege. And
Well deserved. Now we have the pleasure of celebrating the recipients of the City of New York Awards. The CUNY Award recognizes those alumni who have made important contributions to strengthening the CUNY system. Tonight, we honor 2 recipients. For our first award, let's welcome Kieran Howard, Executive Officer for the Earth and Environmental Studies Program. Kieran.
Thank you. It's really my pleasure to present the CUNY Award to my colleague, Karen Block, a wonderful scientist, mentor, and much more to many people. And I know Karen's family are here today, so welcome. So let's sort of start with the science part first. Dr. Block Cora is a geochemist and petrologist who investigates the role and evolution of minerals in high and low temperature settings. Her projects have included an investigation of the feedback between clay minerals and microbes in relation to carbon, psychodynamics in soils, and she's also developed databases and computational tools for use in igneous petrology. She has an extensive publication record that includes peer-reviewed articles, reports, field guides, many of which have been authored with her students. Currently, she's conducting environmental research at the local scale to understand how climate and pollution is recorded in the mineral record. She serves on the advisory boards of prestigious organizations and funded community efforts, including the Sloan Scholars Mentoring Network and NSS Inspire, implementing novel solutions for promoting cultural change in geoscience research and education. Yet this award is really to acknowledge much more than her scholarship. It's about her service to CUNY. And here, Karen is selfless to Earth and Environmental Sciences at the Graduate Center, to Earth and Atmospheric Sciences at the City College of New York. Her commitment to students goes above and beyond what is possible for most others. Superlatives can flow, but I prefer data and examples. She's mentored dozens of undergraduates and tens of master's students, in addition to her doctoral advising. Dig down and you find that 92% of her advisees identify as women and or were from groups that have been and are marginalized in STEM. At the GC, she's been an essential voice in helping to examine foundational courses and exams with an eye to accessibility so that they can serve all students equitably. When I first met Karen, it was during my first task as the then Deputy of Earth and Environmental Sciences, chairing an oral qualifying exam. She was on the committee, which was then required of our core course instructors. And what became a conversation about the exam involved into a major assessment and revision of our entire qualifying procedure. And we piloted the new exam format last summer, This was unsolicited feedback to the exam committee on the process from a student. And I'm sharing an excerpt without edits. The student writes, "This was an invaluable experience, and I found myself responding intuitively and spontaneously to questions that are existentially rooted in my personhood. Today, I feel lifted and ready to take on the work, as it has a new meaning today, and because all of you are showing me the importance of engagement and the noble pursuit of knowledge." This is an example of the impact of Dr. Bloch-Cora and the change that she brings. And it's part of the reason I'm so honored to present this award to her today. This exam was designed through a lens of equity that embodies all of Karen's work. It wasn't that Karen handed me that lens. I'm a community college professor at CUNY. We sort of better pack that lens. It was more like my lens was foggy. Karen scrubbed it, improved its focus, its depth of field, and this effect extends beyond me into our program, across the university, and beyond. And of course, this tracks with the derivation of the word mentor. As the story goes, in ancient Greece, Odysseus left for battle, leaving his wife and son behind. He placed his son under the care of a guardian called mentor, whose job was to guide and protect him. But mentor was the wrong choice. He was weak, he was insecure, and he was negligent. It took Athena to swoop down and transmit the skill sets needed for mentor to be the guide. And that is what Karen does for her institution. She makes us do better through her actions, her examples, and she leads with purpose and with intent. In addition to our own doctoral students, she's trained many of our graduate students in effective teaching strategies, closing a gap often missing in training in graduate programs to the advantage of our students and the benefit of the many undergraduates that they teach. In deserved recognition of these many actions, the Graduate Center bestowed Karen with an award for excellence in mentorship in 2023, and she was also awarded a Broadening Equity and Inclusion Award by the CCNY Division of Science in 2021. Her influence extends well beyond CUNY. She's been a research scientist at Lamont Doherty Earth Observatory of Columbia since 2009 and has featured in national programs such as NSF's funded URGE, Unlearning Racism in Geosciences. She's also been a visiting professor at the University of Science and Technology of China. Karen's tireless dedication to her scholarship, her students, and her unwavering commitment to CUNY's mission is truly inspiring. We are proud to recognise her outstanding work with this CUNY Award. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Karen Bloch-Cora.
Oh, goodness. I'm such a nerd. I have to bring my book here with me. I chicken scratched some remarks. I'm not really sure what I'm going to say. But so here goes. You know what? I think I'm going to start with the end. And that's that I want to thank my family. And by family, I mean the family that I was born into. Both my parents were scientists, and I don't think I recognized what an incredible privilege it is to grow in an environment where you're surrounded by that kind of curiosity and access to having a curious mind. That is indeed a huge privilege. I want to thank the family that I created with my husband, Chris, who's right there. Thank you, Chris. My kid, Eros, is at home, hopefully doing their homework. Um, I want to thank the family that I chose. That includes my friend Bindu, who is sitting right there, and she attended my dissertation defense right in this building so many years ago. What was it? Almost 20 years ago. That's bananas. Where does the time go? But I also want to thank you, my fellow defenders of the truth. You are also my family, the knowledge creators, the Graduate Center alumni, the people who prop me up and who helped me to do the work. Dr. Brumberg, President Brumberg, goodness gracious. Kieran, I can't thank you enough for helping me do what I can to advance the mission. So I want to thank the committee for selecting me. What a Herculean task to be in the company of so many amazing scholars and to be selected. I was truly surprised and humbled to be honored with this award. I've been debating whether to tell this story, as you know, these days it's probably controversial. But after I finished my PhD at this wonderful institution that gave me access to so much, I went and did a postdoc at Columbia, and I stayed there for a couple of years. And then I was promoted to associate research scientist. And I thought that I would probably end my career would be entirely at this institution. I had pledged to stay in New York to form a family with my husband and be near our relatives. And so I thought that that was my path. And then I was surprised when I received the opportunity to come to City College as a professor because CUNY had launched something called the Black and Latin American Initiative, where they were recruiting promising candidates who were from those particular backgrounds in order to better serve students in STEM that actually, to have faculty that reflect the community at CUNY, and there are so very few of us in the sciences. So I was recruited to come to the faculty, and I am one of those legendary diversity hires that you hear about. I'm it, diversity hire. This is what happens when you hire someone with a diversity mission. And the reason that I say that is because that's sort of become a dirty word, right? And I want to say up front that I wouldn't have gotten the opportunity if it hadn't been for that initiative. The path that I was on consisted on creating databases for research, which have been incredibly valuable. Thousands of papers have been published with these resources that I helped to create, and I'm still involved in those efforts with my partners at Columbia and at a lot of other institutions. But it took me a really long time to really feel comfortable in the role of being a faculty member because of the way that I came into the job. And so I felt a little bit like an imposter because it was a different path from what many of my colleagues had experienced. And I don't think that I fully convinced myself that I was not an imposter until I put together my dossier for full professorship. And when I had to account for what I had accomplished up to that point, there was no denying that I've done a few things and I should be proud and that I have earned where I am. So I'm going to shift to my other piece of chicken scratch right here. I want to talk about service as the linchpin of this enterprise in the creation of knowledge and upholding truth. The commitment to serve even when the needs are changing right beneath your feet. It's happening right now. This is not unique. I'm so grateful to historians to always give us perspective. And the challenges that we are facing now are interesting, but we've always had challenges. How lucky am I to be able to continue the mission alongside all of you? As an alumnus of the Graduate Center and as a member of its faculty, there is no place that I'd rather be right now. Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. I am so humbled and so honored to continue the mission of serving our students, serving our city within this incredible institution that gave me so many opportunities and that I hope to one day pay back. Thank you. I told you I would leave it.
For our second and final CUNY Award presentation, it's my pleasure to welcome Distinguished Professor of Physics at Hunter College and the Graduate Center, Dr. Stephen Greenbaum.
Thank you. I'm incredibly proud to present this CUNY Service Alumni Award. Great privilege for me to this year's winner, Dr. Eugene Monanga. I don't like to use notes usually, but he's done so much since graduating and he's received so much recognition. Well, not notes. Okay, well, so he's been recognized as a significant researcher, educator, and mentor. We've heard a lot of that word today, both at this university and also at the national stage. So currently he's professor of physics and nuclear medicine at Bronx Community College. He's also a professor of physics and chemistry. He's a joint appointment at the Graduate Center, program director of STEM for the CUNY Academy. And in addition to his CUNY faculty appointments, he's an adjunct professor of applied physics at NYU, a fellow at the Kavli Institute for Theoretical Physics at the University of California, Santa Barbara. He's also a fellow of the U.S. Department of Energy's visiting faculty program. He's been at Brookhaven National Laboratory. He's quite a prolific and very interdisciplinary scientist. He conducts research in condensed matter physics, material science, computational chemistry, and even nuclear medicine. Recent research topics include controlled spin dynamics and solid-state nuclear magnetic resonance, we call NMR. He's also done some high-pressure NMR. We'll talk to you later about that. And he's also uses computational mechanisms, computational methods based on density functional theory to characterize materials systems in fuel cells, batteries, and general techniques for energy storage. He's written and contributed to more than 80 articles published in peer-reviewed journals. As far as recognition is concerned, he's got numerous awards, including the 2023 President's Award for Excellence in Research from the President of Bronx Community College, Distinguished Mentor Award from the Society for Advancement of Chicanos, Hispanics, Native Americans in Science, otherwise known as SACNAS, the largest STEM organization for underrepresented students in the country, right? He also got the 2022 Junior Faculty Research Award in Science and Engineering, sponsored by the Alfred P. Sloan Foundation, 2018 Distinguished Scientist Award from the American Chemical Society, the New York section, 2017 Henry Wasser Award in Physics from CUNY Academy for Humanities and Science. That's why I need the notes, right? Most recently, in January of this year, before the inauguration, Dr. Monanga was recognized by President Biden at the White House, where he received the highest mentoring award in the country, Presidential Award for Excellence in Science, Mathematics, and Engineering Mentoring. I'm very proud of that. Eugene is deeply invested in CUNY's mission of fostering educational opportunities for all people, works tirelessly to impact lives and change the experience of individuals, persons with disabilities, and basically all who might not have even dreamed of opportunities to this kind of access. With that in mind, we're very pleased to recognize his efforts with this CUNY Service Award.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Steve, for that incredible and helpful introduction. Truly, thank you. First and foremost, I would like to thank the President of the Graduate Center, Professor Joshua Brumber, and the 2025 Graduate Center Alumni Awards Committee for selecting me for this meaningful honor. I am deeply grateful to be recognized with the City University of New York Alumni Award. This is a great joy, and thank you. Special thanks to MC of the ceremony, Interim Provost Norman Carey, and congratulations to all the 2025 alumni honorees. I extend my appreciation to the entire Graduate Center community, especially the PhD program in physics, where I earned my PhD in 2005, and where I am proud to serve as a doctoral faculty member. I am also deeply grateful to BCC for the privilege of serving on its faculty, and to the CUNY Academy for the opportunity to serve as program director for STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I'm especially grateful to Professor Emeritus Joe Guston, whose guidance and support were instrumental in helping me overcome one of the most challenging physics qualifying exams of my academic journey. Thank you to my friends, colleagues, and family who are here in person to share this moment with me, and most dear to my heart, my daughters, Stephanie and Monique Mananga. Accepting this award without honoring those who have mentored me from my childhood will be unimaginable. I was born in Cameroon, in Central Africa, and I immigrated in the United States in 1999, where everything was so new to me. I almost got kicked out of my program at the end of my first semester because I didn't know how to check my email. I missed all required and important meetings because I didn't even know that I had a student email account. The chair of the physics department at the end of my first semester at City College called me into his office and had to reset my password for me. None of my email messages were ever checked. So the US was such a new world for me. Growing up in Cameroon as the youngest child in a family of 8 children, I am the first to graduate from high school and college. My parents and siblings were so instrumental in shaping who I am. I carry the love and teachings with me always. I wish they could be here with me today. How proud my parents, Maurice Emmanuel and Monique Mananga, will be. And to my siblings, I thank you from my heart. I offer special thanks to my doctoral advisor, distinguished Professor Steve Greenbaum. Today, I feel I am walking in his footsteps. As both a former student and current mentor at the Graduate Center, I know the power of hearing, yes, you can do it. Mentoring to me is like scientific knowledge. It builds upon what came before. Isaac Newton once said, if I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulder of giants. One of the most transformative chapters of my life was during my times as a CUNY graduate student. The transition from a theoretical background to conducting experimental research in condensed matter physics, especially in nuclear magnetic resonance, was incredibly difficult. The language barrier only added to the challenge. But it was in this difficulty that I grew the most. As a graduate student, I was never afraid to ask questions, never afraid to make mistakes. You can ask my advisor. And that made all the difference. I am especially grateful to Professor Greenbaum and also to Dr. J. Jacobi and Dr. Philip Stalwart, who trained me and support me in our laboratory at Hunter College. My graduate students' experience shaped my academic view. The CUNY PhD program in physics opened me ways that maybe nowhere else. From my PhD in physics at City University of New York, I went to a postdoc in the National High Magnetic Laboratory of the United States. Then I followed to the French Atomic Energy Commission of France, and then I came back to Harvard, joined appointment with Massachusetts General Hospital, and then I decided to give back to my community. My graduate experience shaped my view. Today, I use those same lessons with my mentees. Do not fear failure. It is through mistake that we grow. Albert Einstein once said, a person who never made a mistake never try anything new. Mentoring for me means sharing both success and failure. That honesty is where true learning happens. Once again, thank you all for this great honor. It is with deep pride and sincere gratitude that I accepted the 2025 City University of New York Alumni Award. Thank you.
Well, my great thanks to all. Thank you. And please join me to once again congratulate all of tonight's award winners whose work has brought distinction to the Graduate Center. Thank you. I would also like us to applaud all our alumni who have joined us tonight and whose contributions have made a great difference in New York City and around the globe. Thank you, alumni, here and watching remotely. I also want to thank the anonymous members of the committee who helped us, and also for the members of the alumni relations office here who have helped to put together this magnificent evening. Thank you all so very much, and please stay for the reception.